Gamers. Okay, so I thought I was going to be talking about Purrely for my first video after the new pack, but we're on a 5-game win streak right now. The first deck I ended up like really taking a liking to was Mikanko, and I got to give huge thanks to LFR, the most active Discord mod in in the MDC Discord. But yeah, so basically this deck is really goofy, kind of a troll deck, kind of a troll strategy, but really fun. So every single Mikanko monster, when they're equipped with an equip spell, they become Amazon's swordswoman, except that they don't get destroyed by battle. So the main gist of the deck really is to get like a kaiju on your opponent's field and then swing with a bunch of Mikanko monsters equipped with equip spells. There's ways of facilitating this to make the game a bit easier to get so that you don't have to swing 3-4 times. For instance, there's this really goofy spell called Double-Edged Sword, and this will give 2,000 attack to your opponent's monster, and they'll take any battle damage you would take from that battle. So basically, they're taking double the damage. So for instance, I know it's kind of confusing, but let's say you give your opponent the Double-Edged Sword on a Dogaran. The Dogaran is going to go up to 5,000 attack, and then you would swing with the Hare, and they'll take 5,000 for the effect of Hare since she's equipped, and then they'll also take another 5,000 because the damage you would take is inflicted upon them. So yeah, it's kind of goofy, it's kind of silly, but it's a lot of fun. I really like this deck, honestly, and it's been doing really good for me. As always, we're going to do the card by card at the end. I do want to point out the extra deck doesn't matter super very much. Like obviously this Folgo should not be here, like obviously it's random. I guess we can put an access code in here, but the extra deck doesn't matter very much. Most of the time you'll be banishing it away for Pot of Extravagance. Maybe the Zeus package is really the only somewhat important part, and also your Link monsters can sometimes come up as ways to get Mikankos in the grave. But other than that, like the extra deck here does not matter very much at all, so don't take a look at all these URs and get worried or anything. If you have Zeus, a Zeus package is fine, and then just throw some SR links in there that you like. Also, this build here is not as focused on normal summoning as some other builds. We're playing Hidden Armory, and I almost want to bump this up to 3 so that we can search our Double-Edged Sword more often. I'm also running Lava Golem, so I'm focusing a lot on special summoning monsters. One thing that's really cool is Mikanko Fire Dance is an equipped spell that will special summon a Mikanko from your hand or graveyard. So a lot of the time with this deck, it's really just a question of getting to game as soon as possible, going second. And if you don't, well then you can kind of do interesting combos to set up some like snatch steals. You can set up 2 snatch steals on your opponent's turn plus like an IP Masquerena, or you can set up a Zeus and a snatch steal, stuff like that. So there's definitely a lot of plays in this deck if you fail at going for game. It's not like the best thing ever. It's definitely meant to go for game, but it's not a deck that just does nothing if you can't go for game. People might think that, and they might pass on nothing, and then you're like uninterrupted, just set up a board with a couple of snatch steals, and that'll win you some games. So as always, I'm going to have a couple of replays. We're going to do some live gameplay, and then we're going to do the card by card at the end. But let's get into it. So for our first replay here, we're actually going to do a game that is pretty interesting. It's going to be an example of what happens if your opponent passes on nothing. Here I'm wearing the Mikanko sleeves, and I picked going second, so my opponent kind of knew that I was going to be playing Mikanko. So what they did is they just set a card and they passed because they didn't want to get like destroyed in the next turn. But here's what you can actually do. So here we're going to go for Ohime. Ohime Enhanced effect will let you search any Mikanko card. So we're going to search the Hare. So here we go. We have the Hare. Then we have to discard one. So we discard the Hare. We activate Emergency Teleport to summon Huli. This is one of the best things you can do in this deck. Huli is pretty much like your best Mikanko because it makes your monsters untargetable while you have a equipped spell anywhere on the field. And it doesn't have to be equipped to her. If there's an equipped spell on the field, all your monsters are untargetable, well, your Mikanko monsters. So here we're going to summon out the Huli. Then we're going to go for the Great Mikanko Ceremony. So in this deck, I'm not running the ritual spell, so this is really your only way of summoning Ohime because this ignores summoning conditions, but it will return this monster to the hand during your opponent's end phase if that ever comes up. So here we go. Great Mikanko here. We're going to summon out the Ohime. Then we get to go for the graveyard effect of the Great Mikanko, and that's why this card is so broken. This card is actually a Foolish Burial for any Mikanko card on top of special summoning from your hand. So we go for that. We send the Mikanko Dance. What's cool about Mikanko Dance, this is the green one. The green equip, it can actually activate its effect in the grave to special summon a Mikanko from your grave and equip itself to it. So we're going to bring back the Hare, and it's going to get equipped with the Mikanko Dance, and because the Hare gets equipped with a card, whenever this one's equipped, it gets to search another equipped card. So we're going to search, well, it searches a Mikanko equip card. So we're going to activate the Arabesque on the Jewel Mikanko. That's going to trigger the Jewel Mikanko's effect on equip, which is to search a trap. So we search a Mikanko trap. We search a Mikanko Rivalry. Then we can use Mikanko Water Arabesque. What Water Arabesque does is basically it's gonna bounce the monster it's equipped to the hand, and then it's gonna special summon a different Mikanko monster from your deck. That's really the only reason you run Nini, because Nini is really bad. It can only steal your opponent's monsters during their turn. So the main reason you run Nini is literally just for that. We have the Huli that we're normal summoning, and we're just gonna use these two to go into IP Masquerena. Because we can't go for game, I'm setting up a board here where I can just like interrupt my opponent. So we set up our IP, then I go for Ohime effect to equip the Mikanko dance, the Maiyowa Shidori, the green one. I equip the green one to the IP Masquerena. That way they can't destroy the IP Masquerena by card effects. So with that being said, we activate the Fire Dance, equip it to our Jewel Mikanko in the grave so that our Mikankos can't be targeted. Swing for 800. I should have probably just not attacked in case this was evenly, to be honest. I should have just not swung at all there. Little reckless for just 800 damage. Here they're going to go for quick launch, and they're going to activate Noctivision. I'm going to activate Mikanko Rivalry, targeting the Tracer. Now, you might think, well, what if they just chain the Tracer? But usually Dragon Link doesn't want to get Dark Locked this early. I got to give a huge shout to Elfiar, who was helping me out while I was learning this deck, and he pointed that out to me, and I was like, oh, that's a good point, actually. If they get Dark Locked here, that's kind of good for us, right? So here we go. Mikanko Rivalry, they're going to let it go through. We're going to get to equip their Rocket Tracer with our Mikanko Reflection Rondo, which is literally Snatch Steal. So we get to grab their Rocket Tracer, and then they're going to special summon out the Noctivision Dragon. We're going to go for IP Masquerena effect, and we're going to link away the Rocket Tracer to make our Nightmare Unicorn. We can go Nightmare Unicorn effect, discarding the Thunder King, the Light, the Kaiju basically, to bounce the Noctivision, and we also get the Graveyard effect of Mikanko Rivalry to add a Mikanko equip spell from our grave to our hand. Well, actually, I think it adds any equip spell from your grave to your hand, yeah. So here we go, Mikanko Rivalry Graveyard effect. We get to add the Reflection Rondo and bounce that back. Then they're going to summon out a Bestial, banishing our Kaiju, and they're going to go for the Magnamud effect, and they're just going to scoop it up. If they went to battle phase, we could have activated the Nini's effect to steal their monster. So we still would get to steal their monster regardless. So like they were not able to go for game there. I was just waiting for them to summon a level 4 or like a smaller dragon so that they couldn't link 1. So as soon as they would have summoned a level 4, I would have just grabbed it, and they would not be able to link 1. And if they decided to just go to battle, I mean, it's not like they can destroy the Nini because it's equipped, right? So it's actually a really solid deck. It's really goofy, and Dragon Link is arguably the best deck in the format right now, or at least it's one of the best decks in the format for sure. So I think that's a pretty good showcase of how, like, even if they pass on nothing, like no monsters, you can still absolutely set up a really good board. Now, as per usual with these going second replays, sometimes they get really goofy, and your opponent absolutely can't do anything. So in this case here, my opponent is playing Purrely, which you guys will be seeing a lot now because it's a very good deck, and I will be making a video on this deck very soon. But anyway, you know, they go for my friend Purrely. They get themselves a pretty memory. They have a sleepy memory in the graveyard. They're going to use Purrely with the discarded Delicious Meal to make a plump. And then they're going to get to equip the Delicious Meal to it. They're going to activate Sleepy Memory, equip the Sleepy Memory into the Plump, trigger the effect of Plump to equip a Sleepy Memory from the grave. So they have 2 Sleepy Memories, and in end phase, they get to equip a 3rd Sleepy Memory with their field spell. So here they're going to pass turn. And in my standby phase, they're going to go for the Plump effect with the Sleepy Memories to draw 3. And they're gonna activate Maxi, and they're gonna fail to activate their trap in the standby phase. So they could have gotten 6 draws here, and they didn't do it. I don't really know why, but either way, we're gonna Kaiju over their monster. And at this point, like, we know what this trap is, so we don't have to play around this trap. And they just get these 2 triggers here to summon some Purrelys and add back a Flash Spell. Does not really matter. We don't really care. So yeah, they add a couple of cards here. They're going to special summon out a Purrely monster from the deck, and they get to trigger the Purrely and do a little bit of excavation. So, you know, not a big deal here. We're going to go hit an Armory, mill 1. I was trying to bait the Ash here, and it actually worked. But even if they didn't Ash this, we still won. Because basically, if they didn't Ash, we just summoned the Mikanko. We would have searched the one that makes their monster bigger. So we would have made like Thunder King like 5,000 attack with the, I forget the name, double-edged sword. That's what it is. So Ash resolves, no problem. We're all good. We're Gucci. We did not need that. We don't even need our normal summon. Here we're going to go for Preparation of Rites. And yeah, we're going to search ourselves a Ohime. Ohime is going to search the Great Mikanko Ceremony, and we're going to discard the Huli. The reason for that is because we can't even normal summon anyway because we activated Hidden Armory. So we're going to special summon this Huli another way. So anyway, here we go for the Great Mikanko so that we can special summon out our Ohime. So summon out Ohime. Then we get to trigger the graveyard effect of Ceremony to send our green equip spell to the grave. This is a very important play in this deck. You're going to want to do this pretty often. They're going to go for Veiler on our Ohime before we get our targeting protection from the Huli, which, I mean, it's really not a big deal. It really doesn't change much of anything here. Summon out the Uhuli, we get to equip it with the Mayawashidori and get to search our trap. Then we're going to activate Water Arabesque. We're going to go Water Arabesque, special summon the Hare, and it gets equipped with the Water Arabesque. Because it's equipped with the card, we can search a card, so we're going to actually search the Mikanko Water Arabesque. The reason we search the Water Arabesque is because you don't actually need to like use its effect to equip it. So we just want to equip it to a second copy of Huli here to go for game. So we're going to go for Emergency Teleport, summon out the Huli, and we're going to activate the Water Arabesque on the third Huli just to get an equip on there so that we can go for game this way. So really goofy stuff. But yeah, I mean, we pretty much destroyed Purrely going second here. Now, they did play kind of wrong, but if they played right, what would have happened is they would have made the Noir, they would have gotten 3 more draws, and we still would have summoned the Kaiju, and our entire line would have been exactly the same, and we would have still won, so it doesn't really matter. I mean, that was just easy GG. Honestly, this deck is crazy. Let's go do some live gameplay, I guess. Okay, so we're on a 5-game win streak. Let's see if we can keep that win streak going. I would love to see that. This deck has been doing pretty good for me, and it's a lot of fun, but it is a little weird and kind of hard to explain because it's a very unique playstyle. It's very fun, though. I really like it. So let's see what we get here. I really like when I lose the coin flip. I hate when I win the coin flip and I choose to go second because then my opponent kind of knows what I'm trying to do and they might just pass on nothing. I think I might have to change my sleeves, honestly. I think wearing the Mikanko sleeves and choosing to go second kind of is a dead giveaway. So, yeah, but this is kind of a buff to going second sprite because opponents will pass on nothing. And against going second sprite, that is a death sentence. But yes, so they're going straight to the end phase here. So we're going to have to set up just like, you know, just a couple of snatch steals and stuff like that. It's fine, it's fine. So let's go Preparation of Rites, see if that gets their Ash out of the hand here. Does not. Okay, so we grab a Ohime. And we have a really good hand here. We have the Ceremony, we have the E-Telly. Like, we have pretty much everything we would want except for, like, a good equip spell. So I'm going to go for this here. Yeah, we're going to grab ourselves. I think we're going to grab the Water Arabesque, probably. Yeah, so that we can... Yeah, I think Water Arabesque is the play here. And we can discard from our hand. We might as well discard the Huli, I suppose. Yep. So let's discard the Huli here. Then we can go for Great Mikanko Ceremony. And we're going to get to special out our Ohime. With the Great Ceremony, we're going to send to the graveyard a copy of our green equip spell, Mayawashidori. Got to get used to that name. And here we can go for Mayawashidori effect in the grave to special summon our Huli. And it's going to get equipped with the Mayawashidori. So summon out the Huli. Mayawashidori equip. Very good. Then what we can do... we already have Rivalry, which is kind of crazy, so we don't even get to search it off Huli. Yeah, I mean, this is really not bad. So, okay, so here's my idea here. Let's see how far we can go with this. We're going to summon out the Nini, the Arabesque. I'm bad with these names. These names are weird. I'm not going to lie. So we're going to go Arabesque effect. And we get to special summon out a different Mikanko from our deck. So we're going to summon the Hare, and it's going to get equipped with this, and then our Nini is going to get bounced to the hand. So that way we can go Hare effect, and we can search our Fire. And with the Fire Dance, we can summon out the Nini. So we're going to go Fire Dance, summon out the Nini. Yeah. And we're going to have our Rivalry. We have a Monster Steal with the Nini. Yeah, so we could go like Emergency Teleport. We're going to make an IP Masquerena. So we're going to summon our other Huli, and we're going to make an IP Masquerena. Although, IP is not that good here. It's all right. It's all right. We're still going to go for IP here. So we're going to use Ohime and this one to go for IP. So that all our other ones have equips on them. And yeah, from here we have 2 Monster Steals, and we can use one of their Monster Steals to link up into something. So it's not too bad, not too bad. I'm not going to go to battle for 800 damage. It's not worth it. And let's see how they feel about this stuff. Now, there's a couple things, like, we also lose to hard going second cards. So, like, this is not, like, a foolproof board or anything, but it's still 2 Snatch Steals plus an IP. Like, it's not bad. The one thing is now I don't have a card in hand, so I can't just, like, go Unicorn. Yikes. Yeah, that's really not good for us. Thankfully, we still have 2 Monster Steals here. If they go for Lava Golem again, though, we probably lose. Oh, my God. They did it. Holy shit. That's crazy. That's actually crazy. And there goes their own Fire Dance. Yeah, I think we just lose here. Hare. Unless they don't know what they're doing, we just lose here. I mean, sometimes they just have the better hand, I guess. Equip Arabesque to IP to bounce it and summon from deck. Makes sense, makes sense. So far, we're taking 6k damage. Alright, so far we only take 6k damage. Alright, so I think we lived through this. This is going to be a weird mirror match, though. This is going to be a weird one, for sure. Anything special that's going to... Nope, okay. Alright. Weird one, weird one. Okay, and they have the trap down there. Thankfully, we can kind of insulate ourselves from the trap, and that's going to be pretty good. So, yeah. Oh, wait, no. I forgot about these. Oh, shit. Well, yeah, that's, hey, Mikanko, it's a good deck. Hey, Mikanko, it's a great deck. It's, this is the deck that lost me my win streak. It's a great deck. You know, it happens. It happens. Let's check out his deck list, actually. So, pretty similar list to mine. This guy is running, less variety of kaijus and more lava golems, which I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. And he's running 3 hidden armory. Yo, low key, that's not a bad build. I might. Hey, I might. So yeah, just doing a a little bit of fine tuning here, and let's jump back in, I guess. Maybe I should put on a different set of sleeves. Maybe tier sleeves. Maybe they would believe that. Maybe they would believe that. All right, let's see. Let's see. That was a funny game, though. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, this hand is decent, but we really need a Mikanko monster. Okay, it's Purrely. So, like, if they set up 2 monsters, if they're good, this is good. If they only set up the Noir, this is actually really bad because of the Lava Golem. That's why I didn't want to run 3 Lava Golem, but I do like having 3 hidden armory. I do like that. Because if we summon Lava Golem, we don't get our normal summon anyway, so why not use hidden armory, you know? And get max advantage here. The one thing I'm really worried about here is if they draw into Ash, we won't get our Extrav. So we really need to draw into a Mikanko monster at this point. What are they grabbing here? I didn't even notice. They're grabbing the Delicious Memory to make Plump. Yeah. So let's see. Are they good enough to make a rank 1 plus Noir, or are they not good enough? I can't wait to showcase this deck too. This deck is actually really fun. Purrely is really fun to play. I thought I would hate this deck, but after playing it, like, it's really fun. It's kind of difficult to get used to. It's a very unique deck with a very unique playstyle. But it's actually, like, super fun to play. So they're going to go for Purrely here, and they can Xyz using a card from their grave. Oh, no, first they search, then they can Xyz with the card from their grave. They're probably going to make a Plump with the Purrely here. Yep. So using the Purrely and the Delicious Memory, they get to make a Plump. So here we go. Making a Plump. Then what do they have in hand? They have Confirmed. I don't even know. Do you have a Sleepy Memory in there? Any sleepy memories, sir? All right, Pretty Memory, still bad, still not bad, still not bad. Probably gonna go for the Plump effect here to equip it. Makes sense. So get it up to 3 materials, and they'll get to make a rank 1. That's reassuring for us. That's gonna help us a lot. We're gonna get to summon our Lava Golem pretty much definitely here. And yeah, your next play. Okay, so you discard the Happy Memory. You really want to get another material on that Plump. All right, going for Purrely here. They really want to draw into a Purrely spell of some kind. And they don't. And we saw an Ash in there. That's reassuring. That's 1 less Ash that we have to worry about. So technically, well, I mean, they'd probably just draw into it, but yeah. Do they go to the bottom of the deck? Place the rest on the bottom of the deck? Okay, that's good. All right, so Ensemble Robin. Yeah, I love this card in this deck. I think this card plus the Noir is really crazy. The one thing is, if you're doing that, you really run the risk of just getting Lava Golemed, but, that's just a reality of Purrely. It kind of loses to Kaiju, which is why Mikanko is in a pretty good place right now. So they're setting the trap, and they have no draws on this. And yeah, okay, so that's really rough, man. We're going to go for Pot of X Trap first. Let's see if that was the one of Ash. We really need this to go through. If not, we pretty much lose. And it went through, so we pretty much win. Special the Lava Golem. Yep. And now their trap is dead. We have the Fire Dance 2 to special summon from hand. I mean, they might as well scoop it up here. It's literally impossible for them to win. Literally impossible for them to win. Yeah, I don't hate having higher odds of drawing into Hidden Armory. I'm not going to lie. This makes the deck a lot goofier. A lot goofier. So here it's very simple. Okay, they're going to go for Max C. We could not care less. Absolutely could not care less. We're going to go for Hidden Armory right now. Hidden Armory. Discard, well, mill 1 to add a equip spell to our hand. We're going to add the Double-Edged Sword. And you guys are going to get to see this card in full effect. This card is so funny. So equip the Double-Edged Sword to the Lava Golem. It's going to go up to 5,000 attack. And by the way, Hidden Armory is not once per turn. So, you know, if you wanted to, you can use it more than once. Once you use it once, there's no more downside to using it again, you know. So like here, I don't really need to. I just wanted to show that you can use it more than once per turn because that is a good thing. So here we go. We don't really need to do much here. We're going to go Mikanko Fire Dance, and we're going to attack, and they're going to take 10,000 damage. 10,000 damage. So, yeah, special summon a monster. Nope, don't need to do that. Don't need to do that. We do get our Huli effect here. Huli. We're going to add the Rivalry to our hand, because what if, I don't even know, what if they had Sphere Karibo in hand, right? And we're just going to go for battle here. And swing for 10k. 10k, right? 5,000, and then the effect of Double-Edged Sword applies for another 5,000. Absolutely wiping the floor with Purrely. This deck is the real deal. This deck is really, really good. Honestly, I think going second is just in a good place in the game right now. And yeah, I mean, we didn't continue our win streak, but we still beat like one of the better decks of the current format. We don't know how good Purrely is on the tier list yet. I'm going to need to see the format develop a bit more before I can choose on that. And it's kind of hard to say with going second being so strong right now. It really makes it hard to gauge because a lot of the decks in this format just kind of lose to going second if you have a decent hand. So yeah, it's pretty weird, but oh my god, absolutely loving this deck. So look, I mean, I'm not gonna beat around the bush here. We're just gonna do the card by card. We'll talk a bit about the logic. So we're running 3 Maxi. I'm running 2 Hare, 1 copy of Nini, and 2 copies of Huli. The reason we're not running that many Mikanko monsters is because when your hand has a bunch of Mikanko monsters and no equip spells, you're kind of sad. Like, you're kind of feeling depressed because you literally can't do anything, and you just get one normal summon of a monster that you'll like not take damage, but it literally does nothing on its own, right? Running 2 Lava Golem. 3 Lava Golem is pretty good, but I think 2 is a little bit better, honestly, right now, with 4 of these, just because a lot of people are playing Purrely and they're passing on a single copy of Noir or stuff like that, so or 1 Plump that they then tag into a Noir. So I think Kaijus are slightly better right now, but Lava Golem is still really good, and I might end up like bumping it to 3 eventually if I feel that. 3 copies of Ohime is just a must. I mean, this card in your hand can search any Mikanko card, so oftentimes you'll go for this. You'll search the Ceremony, then you can activate Ceremony, special summon the Ohime, Ceremony effect in the grave. You can send any Mikanko card from your deck to the graveyard, so you'll usually send the Mayawashidori, and then this card from the grave can special summon a Mikanko from your graveyard and equip itself to it. So that is really, really strong. Okay, so now we have 3 copies of Hidden Armory. Shout out to that guy I met in ladder who was running 3, kind of convinced me. Honestly, this card is just crazy in this deck, especially if you're playing Lava Golems and you might lock yourself out of normal summoning anyway. This deck oftentimes does not need its normal summon, especially with the Ohime combo using the Ceremony. It kind of like plays around normal summoning a lot. So yeah, we really don't need it most of the time, and Hidden Armory fetch the Double-Edged Sword is just so goofy. It's so funny. 10k damage is just based. 3 copies of Preparation of Rites. This is just like 6 copies of Ohime basically. 2 copies of Pot of Extrav just to like unbreak your hand, and like I said, you don't use your extra deck that much. The Zeus package can be nice sometimes, but most of the time you don't really want to go for a Zeus play because you want to keep all your spells on the field anyway. 2 copies of Lightning Storm. This is just some back row hate because like we don't have a lot of ways of dealing with back row in this deck other than like the bounce of Maya Washidori. So Lightning Storm, you know, just a good draw off of Maxi. 2 copies of Mikanko Fire Dance, 3 copies of Arabesque, and 1 copy of Rondo, 1 copy of Maya Washidori. So the Fire Dance is really good because it'll special summon from your hand or grave a Mikanko. So this kind of plays along with your Hidden Armory as well as your Lava Golem. Unlike this card, which the effect is a hard once per turn, but you can still equip it to a monster on the field, this card will only equip itself to a monster in hand or in graveyard by activating its effect. So really, like, having a bunch of these in hand is not really good. Whereas with Arabesque, at least, like, even if you already use the effect, you can equip it to a Mikanko with no equip spell to just make them live so that you can just swing into your kaiju or something like that. The Mayo Ashidori, this is probably like arguably the best one. Rondo is the one that you're going to equip to your opponent's monsters with the rivalry. This card is basically snatch steal, so it's really good. Also, you can like activate on your own turn if you have it in hand, if you want to steal something. The odds of you wanting to do that are pretty low because you'll usually want to swing into something big, but it is a way to force out a negate or something like that. So it's still quite good. 2 copies of Itelli, because Itelli can summon Huli, which is like crazy. Like that's just crazy because it's like your best one anyway. And also just another way to play around the fact that you get no normal summons after you use Hidden Armory or Lava Golem. The Ceremony, this card is super busted. This card is crazy. Special summon the Ohime from your hand, ignoring its summoning conditions. Then you get a Foolish for your Mayo Ashidori, or for any Mikanko monster if Mayo Ashidori is already in the graveyard, is really insane. Also, like if you have Fire Dance in hand and you really need to play, well, what you can do is you can just send a Mikanko monster, then activate Fire Dance, special summoning a Mikanko monster from your grave like a Hare, and then Hare, because it's equipped with a card, will search, say, your Arabesque, you know, or something. So yeah, this card is super insane. And then obviously the rivalry. For the extra, again, this extra deck, not that important. We have the Zeus package, which I guess is important. Fortune Tune is going to be useful to be able to swing into your opponent's monsters without it getting destroyed, to make a Zeus and quickly clear the board. And Levier is really good because off of Itelli sometimes your Huli is going to get banished, or if you bring it back with the Mayo Ashidori, the Mikanko monster that you summon from the grave with the Mayo Ashidori gets banished after. So it's pretty good to have a way to get it back with the Levier. So Levier definitely pretty good in this deck. It's come up quite a few times for me. Then we're running an out to that Destiny Hero Angel card that negates spells. We're running an out to the Ibli if ever someone summons that. And the rest is just a bunch of generic ones. Hita is decent because you can make it pretty easily and grab like an Ash in your opponent's grave if you need a quick unicorn. Not the best thing in the world, but whatever. Cross Sheep, I mean, if you summon a ritual monster to a zone it points to, which is like Ohime, you get to draw 2, discard 2, which could be useful to unbrick. So, you know, a lot of these are like pretty situational and not that great. So, you know, just play whatever you want for the links. Just make sure to have a Zeus package in there. But yeah, I mean, this deck is really, really cool, really awesome. I love it. Again, thank you to LFR for helping me build it and learn it. I am absolutely loving this deck. I would keep playing this, but I'm going to need to work on a Purrely video. But this has been like my favorite deck so far of the new box. But yeah, that's going to be it from me. Thank you for checking out the video, and peace.